You are watching Emotional Healing Series by MindCrafters. Our last video was on the hidden emotional labor of daily life. Today we will talk about how to heal when you're tired of everything. Ever feel like you're running on empty? No matter how much sleep or rest you get, you're still emotionally and mentally drained? It seems like you've lost your spark and everything feels like too much to handle. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. You're experiencing emotional exhaustion, a silent epidemic that's affecting millions worldwide. Emotional exhaustion is a profound, yet often overlooked challenge that many people face, especially in today's fast-paced, demanding world. It's different from physical fatigue. It's a deep sense of being mentally and emotionally drained, often triggered by long-term stress, overwork, or personal strain. However, emotional exhaustion isn't just a temporary feeling. It can lead to serious mental and physical health problems if not addressed. In this article, we'll explore why we feel tired of everything, how emotional exhaustion impacts our lives, and, most importantly, how to heal when you're emotionally drained. Emotional exhaustion, also known as burnout, occurs when an individual's emotional resources are depleted, leaving them feeling overwhelmed and unable to cope with everyday demands. While physical fatigue can be solved by rest, emotional exhaustion requires a deeper level of care and attention. It's a state where you feel mentally and emotionally depleted and disconnected from the things and people you once enjoyed. It is important to understand the science behind emotional exhaustion. Emotional exhaustion is not just a feeling, it's a physiological response to prolonged stress. Stress triggers the body's fight-or-flight response, releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, if this stress response is not alleviated, it can lead to exhaustion. Chronic exposure to elevated cortisol levels can impair cognitive functions, weaken the immune system, and disrupt the body's ability to regulate emotions. In fact, researchers have found that chronic stress can lead to long-term changes in brain structure, particularly in areas associated with memory and emotion regulation. Dr. Christina Maslach, burnout expert, said, "Emotional exhaustion is not just about feeling tired, it's about being so overwhelmed that you feel like you can't keep going." While Dr. Maslach, a pioneering researcher in the field of burnout, has spent decades studying the phenomenon. Her work has shown that emotional exhaustion occurs when individuals face prolonged stress and emotional demands without adequate recovery. According to her, burnout is more than just a byproduct of hard work. It's a systemic issue that results from the lack of support and balance in a person's work and personal life. Musician and writer Michael Gungor says, "Burnout is what happens when you try to avoid being human for too long." This quote encapsulates the human side of emotional exhaustion, emphasizing that burnout occurs when individuals push themselves beyond their limits without addressing their emotional needs. The idea of avoiding being human refers to the emotional disconnection that people experience when they are overwhelmed and unable to process their feelings or take time for themselves. Do you know what are the global stats and prevalence? According to the World Health Organization, WHO, mental health conditions, including emotional exhaustion, affect over 264 million people worldwide, and this number continues to rise. In fact, emotional burnout is one of the most commonly reported symptoms of workplace stress. Studies from Gallup reveal that nearly 23% of employees worldwide report feeling burned out at work very often, or always, and around 44% of workers feel emotionally exhausted at least once a week. WHO's World Mental Health Report indicates that nearly 1 in 4 people globally will experience some form of mental health disorder at some point in their lives, including conditions like burnout, depression, and anxiety, all of which are closely linked to emotional exhaustion. In the United States, a study from the American Psychological Association, APA, found that nearly 60% of workers experience burnout at some point in their careers, with a staggering 23% reporting that they experience it very often or always. The study also showed that burnout was especially prevalent among healthcare workers, educators, and service industry employees, many of whom report that their emotional exhaustion is a direct result of long hours and high emotional demands. In Europe, a European Agency for Safety and Health at Work report found that nearly 40% of workers in Europe are affected by stress and burnout. which are now considered the leading causes of absenteeism. In France, for instance, approximately 1 in 10 workers suffers from chronic stress, with emotional exhaustion being a central factor in these cases. The rise in remote working due to the COVID-19 pandemic further amplified these issues, leading to a surge in burnout rates across the globe. Studies have shown that prolonged exposure to stress leads to cognitive and emotional depletion. The World Health Organization, WHO, defines burnout as a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. It includes 3 main dimensions: feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, and reduced professional efficacy. WHO recognizes burnout as a significant issue, impacting individuals' mental and physical health, as well as organizational productivity. The United Nations has also highlighted the growing concern of emotional exhaustion in various international contexts, particularly in high-pressure environments such as healthcare, education, and service industries. As stress-related conditions continue to rise, global initiatives are being introduced to address mental health challenges in the workplace and promote emotional well-being. In these sectors, workers report high levels of emotional strain and burnout, affecting their productivity, relationships, and overall well-being. It's not just a workplace issue. The constant pressure of modern life, social media, family obligations, and personal responsibilities can contribute to emotional exhaustion, leaving people feeling mentally drained and overwhelmed. When these stressors accumulate without adequate rest or coping mechanisms, emotional exhaustion becomes inevitable. The World Health Organization, WHO, has reported that mental health conditions such as emotional exhaustion, depression, and anxiety cost the global economy an estimated $1 trillion annually in lost productivity. This figure underscores the far-reaching impact of emotional burnout, not just on individuals, but also on organizations and economies at large. WHO has called for urgent action to address the mental health crisis, emphasizing that mental well-being is fundamental to achieving global health targets and sustainable development. The International Labor Organization, ILO, has also recognized the link between emotional exhaustion and workplace productivity. A 2020 report by ILO revealed that work-related stress and emotional burnout lead to significant economic losses, particularly in high-stress professions like healthcare and education. For instance, healthcare workers, already facing burnout at higher rates due to the ongoing COVID-19 crisis, are at risk of emotional exhaustion due to long shifts, emotional strain, and insufficient support. Here are the signs of emotional exhaustion you should be aware of. Physical symptoms. Unlike typical physical tiredness, emotional exhaustion manifests through a variety of physical symptoms. These can include persistent fatigue, even after a full night's sleep, increased frequency of headaches or unexplained muscle tension, gastrointestinal issues such as nausea, upset stomach, or changes in appetite, difficulty getting restful sleep or insomnia despite exhaustion. There are also mental and emotional signs. Emotional exhaustion often has a profound impact on one's mental and emotional state. A constant feeling of being overwhelmed and unable to manage tasks. An inability to focus, which results in procrastination and decreased productivity. Increased irritability, mood swings, or feelings of frustration. A sense of hopelessness or helplessness, as if there's no way out of the exhaustion. Say emotional numbness, where you might feel disconnected from the world around you, even from loved ones. There are behavioral symptoms as well. The behavioral effects of emotional exhaustion can also impact your daily life. Withdrawal from social activities, as you simply don't have the energy to engage with others. Avoidance of responsibilities, leading to unfinished tasks at work or home. Increased dependency on unhealthy coping mechanisms like overeating, excessive drinking, or procrastination. Understanding these signs is the first step toward addressing emotional exhaustion. If left unchecked, emotional exhaustion can lead to more severe conditions like anxiety, depression, or even burnout, making it even more critical to seek solutions. There are reasons why you feel tired of everything. Number 1, chronic stress and overwork. Chronic stress is one of the leading causes of emotional exhaustion. In the workplace, unrealistic expectations, tight deadlines, and constant pressure to perform can leave individuals feeling burnt out. But it's not just work stress that contributes to emotional exhaustion. Many people feel the strain of balancing multiple roles, parent, partner, friend, and professional, without adequate time to recharge. A Harvard Business Review study found that 41% of employees who work 50 hours or more per week experience high levels of burnout, which is linked to poor mental health outcomes and decreased productivity. Number 2, unmet emotional needs. When your emotional needs are not met, whether through relationships, work, or personal fulfillment, it can lead to a depletion of mental resources. Human beings have basic emotional needs: love, connection, respect, and validation. When these needs are unfulfilled, it can cause stress and frustration, leading to emotional exhaustion. Many people spend their time giving to others, neglecting their own needs in the process. This constant self-sacrifice can eventually lead to burnout. Number 3, the social media trap. In today's digital age, social media is another significant contributor to emotional exhaustion. The constant exposure to idealized versions of others' lives can lead to comparison and feelings of inadequacy. Research has shown that excessive social media use is linked to increased levels of anxiety, depression, and emotional burnout. According to a Pew Research Center study, 60% of social media users say they feel worse after spending time on these platforms due to comparison and unrealistic portrayals of others' lives. Now question arises, how to heal when you're tired of everything? Healing strategy 1. Prioritize rest and recovery. Rest is essential for recovery from emotional exhaustion. While sleep is important, true rest also includes taking breaks throughout the day and allowing yourself moments to unplug from the constant demands of life. A study published in The Lancet found that sleep deprivation leads to a decrease in emotional regulation, which can exacerbate burnout. Therefore, make sure to prioritize sleep, but also take mini breaks during your day to reset. Healing strategy 2. Practice mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness and meditation have been shown to reduce emotional exhaustion by helping individuals regain control over their thoughts and emotions. Research has demonstrated that mindfulness meditation increases emotional resilience, decreases stress, and improves overall well-being. Even a few minutes of mindfulness each day can create a significant positive impact on your emotional state. Healing strategy 3. Set boundaries and learn to say no. Learning to say no is one of the most effective ways to prevent further emotional exhaustion. Boundaries are not only a form of self-care, but they also protect your emotional health by preventing you from overextending yourself. By identifying areas where you feel overburdened, whether at work, home, or in social circles, you can take steps to set clear limits and preserve your energy. Healing strategy 4. Seek professional support. Sometimes healing requires outside help. Talking to a therapist or counselor can provide the tools needed to manage emotional exhaustion. Therapy helps individuals process their feelings, develop healthy coping mechanisms, and understand the root causes of their burnout. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that therapy can significantly reduce the symptoms of emotional exhaustion and prevent mental health conditions like anxiety and depression. After all these strategies, try to reclaiming your energy. There are small steps toward recovery. Healing from emotional exhaustion doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that involves taking small steps every day. Start by implementing simple strategies like deep breathing, stretching, or taking walks. Incorporate activities that bring you joy, whether that's spending time with loved ones, reading a book, or practicing a hobby. These small daily habits can help rewire your emotional state and restore your energy over time. Try to shifting your mindset. One of the most important parts of healing is shifting your mindset. Instead of seeing emotional exhaustion as a permanent condition, view it as a temporary state that can be improved with effort and self-care. The idea of self-compassion plays a crucial role in this process. Be kind to yourself. Recognize your limits, and don't be too hard on yourself for feeling exhausted. Healing is not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Dear subscribers of MindCrafters, emotional exhaustion is a real and pressing issue that affects millions around the world. While it may feel like you're running on empty, healing is possible. By prioritizing rest, setting boundaries, practicing mindfulness, and seeking support, you can reclaim your energy and restore balance to your life. Remember, healing is not an overnight process. It's a journey that requires patience, self-compassion, and a commitment to taking small, consistent steps toward emotional well-being.
Chapter 8.
If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe MindCrafters for more tips on emotional healing. And don't forget to comment below, what's one thing you'll do today to take care of yourself?